So every year and every offseason, I do my predictions as to where every single free agent is going to sign for the upcoming season. And while I know I got a couple of the big names right this year, I wanted to go back and take a look at the top free agents in Major League Baseball for the 2025 offseason and see how I did on my predictions. So yes, we are reacting to my 2025 free agent predictions. Getting it started off at the catcher position, there really weren't any notable catchers at the time that I released my predictions. Travis d'Arnaud had already signed with the Los Angeles Angels. I'll tell you right now, I wasn't predicting him going there. I would say the two biggest names are Kyle Higashioka and Danny Jansen. Higashioka ended up signing with the Texas Rangers. I didn't see that one coming. I thought they were going to go for a more backup player rather than a platoony guy like Kyle Higashioka, who seems like he's going to get a decent amount of playing time out in Texas with Jonah Heim. And then as for Danny Jansen, I thought the Rays could use a catcher, but I did think he was going to ultimately end up with the Cubs, who we know signed Carson Kelly. Danny Jansen in Chicago would have been a great fit, but he's also a great fit in Tampa Bay. We know that they're able to develop and get the most out of these guys at the major league level. So I am very interested to see if Danny Jansen can have a bounce back year with the Rays, because previously with the Blue Jays, he had been an awesome catcher overall. He had shown some good pop in the bat. He had been good defensively. He struggled a bit last year. So can the Rays get a little bit more of that? I don't want to say like prime Danny Jansen, because that sounds insane, but can they get Danny Jansen back to where maybe he once was? Now on to first base, and it was like so close. I was so dangerously close to getting a ton of first basemen right. Of course, I got my boy Pete Alonso right, and I'm going to say it right now. A lot of you in the comment section were talking trash on me for saying that I think the Mets were going to get both Juan Soto and Pete Alonso. I was told it's not possible. The Mets don't have the money. They can't spend money like that. Well, they did. The Mets got both of them, and I was right about both of those guys. We'll talk about Juan Soto in a little bit here. But Pete Alonso, there really was no home outside of the New York Mets that even made sense. I know a lot of other teams needed first baseman, and truthfully, the only places that did make sense were teams that were not willing to spend any money. Like, I felt like he was a perfect fit for the Seattle Mariners and Pittsburgh Pirates, but those teams were not spending money on first baseman. With the group of first basemen that was available, the only spot was Pete Alonso for the New York Mets. None of these other teams were going to shell out the money that he wanted for a guy like Pete Alonso. So yay, we got one right. As for Christian Walker, I had Christian Walker going to the New York Yankees, who we know signed Paul Goldschmidt, and I had Paul Goldschmidt going to the Arizona Diamondbacks, who we know then traded for Josh Naylor. And then the Guardians went out and signed Carlos Santana, who I thought was going to sign with the Houston Astros. Paul Goldschmidt signed with the Yankees. It was a revolving door of teams that clearly needed first baseman. We knew this. I knew this. And I just sort of kind of got the teams wrong. I mean, I feel good about my predictions there. Like, there's just so many guys that end up flip-flopping in between these teams. And Josh Naylor getting traded to the Diamondbacks honestly threw a wrench in my plan, because I really do think that Paul Goldschmidt would have been a good fit in Arizona back there. You could have platooned him with Pavin Smith, but overall at the first base position, it was not my best work. I did get Pete Alonso, though. I'm happy about that one, obviously, as your biased Mets fan YouTuber. So I do think that is pretty much everyone at the first base position. I didn't get anybody else right there. Listen, these are hard. Free agent predictions are super tough. I am glad, though, out of the two positions so far, I have at least one guy right now. Hopefully it gets a little bit better. At the second base position, the best and obvious guy was Gleyber Torres. I did not have him signing with the Detroit Tigers. That one honestly felt a little bit crazy to me. I still don't necessarily know if it's the best fit or the best signing for that team and that player, but at the end of the day, Gleyber Torres does make that team better. I thought he was going to go to the Miami Marlins. I did not expect him to have one of the worst off seasons that we've ever seen, where they signed almost nobody and traded away players, but that is how the Marlins typically operate. As for some of the other free agent second basemen, I had Jorge Polanco going to the New York Yankees. They have an obvious hole at second base. I think Jazz Chisholm's going to play there now, but Polanco weirdly signed back with the Mariners after having a career low across the board offensively and struggling to hit in that park. That one really didn't make sense to me, but maybe his just market wasn't very good. Oh, we got another one correct. I don't know if it really matters, but I did predict Brandon Drury to sign with the Chicago White Sox, and bang, added to the list. Brandon Drury was correct. I don't even know why I necessarily thought that one. I guess just because the White Sox need so much help, and Brandon Drury is a guy who looks like he's trying to get some playing time so that he could bounce back, and it felt like a good fit. We don't need to talk about Brandon Drury anymore. That's way too much time. And now we move on to the shortstop position, where there were two guys at the top that anyone really cared about, and that was going to be Willy Adames and Ha-Seong Kim. Ha-Seong Kim ended up signing with the Tampa Bay Rays. I thought Ha-Seong Kim was going to go to the Giants. I believe his brother-in-law is Jung-Woo Lee, who plays center field for them. So I thought maybe there was going to be some family ties there. Maybe Buster Posey wanted to bring in a guy like Ha-Seong Kim. Instead, Buster Posey went the more expensive route, one of their two free agent signings, getting Willy Adames, who I thought was going to go to the Atlanta Braves. Truthfully, I'm shocked that the Braves weren't in on either of these guys. I can't believe that they feel comfortable going into the season with Orlando Arcia at the shortstop position when he was so incredibly bad last year offensively. Defensively, he's still great, but Willy Adames signed that mega contract with the San Francisco Giants, which makes a ton of sense. It was a good move overall. And Ha-Seong Kim takes the 2-year deal, betting on himself a little bit, getting healthy with an opt-out after the first year with Tampa Bay, where he's going to get a ton of playing time, play a bunch of different positions, and maybe they'll be able to turn him into an even better player than he's shown already. Last position in the infield, we've got third base, and there was one guy. It was Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman, of course, signed that 3-year, $120 million contract with the Boston Red Sox, and truthfully, looking back on it, I'm a little bit disappointed that I didn't see this coming. I did not see the Red Sox initially as a team that I thought could be truly interested in Alex Bregman, but I never considered the fact that he might go play second base. Now, of course, there's that weird stuff happening with Rafael Devers not wanting to move off of third, even though it would make the Red Sox a much better team to have him at DH. But with the Alex Bregman, Alex Cora connection, it really did make a lot of sense. Also, Fenway is built for Alex Bregman. If you're not going to play in Minute Maid, this is probably the second best choice, maybe even a better option for him than that park. So shout out the Red Sox getting a really, really nice player. That's a sneaky team. I'm telling you, don't sleep on the Red Sox this year. I think they have a chance at the AL East. I had Bregman sign with the Washington Nationals, but I guess the Nationals were still a little bit early in their rebuild. They didn't want to go all in and push for a guy like Alex Bregman. Instead, they opted to go get Josh Bell, and they got Nathaniel Lowe to play first base, which does help their offense a ton. Now it's time to move on to the outfield position. Starting us off in left field, we've got a couple big names over there. Jurickson Profar, Tyler O'Neill were the big left fielders available. I didn't end up predicting Jurickson Profar. I don't know what happened. I made a card for him, but I never put it in the video. I thought he was going to be a San Diego Padre. He wasn't a San Diego Padre. It still feels crazy to me that he didn't sign with them, but he did get a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Braves, so I can understand why he went a different route. It just felt like Jurickson Profar was never going to leave San Diego, honestly. Good signing for the Braves. They desperately needed help in the corner outfield because going into opening day, they were going to be rocking with Brian De La Cruz and Jared Kelenic playing in the corners, and that would have been absolutely insane. So getting a guy like Jurickson Profar, who came off a career season where the stuff looks sticky and looks legit, he seems like a really nice move for them. I thought Tyler O'Neill was going to go back north to the Toronto Blue Jays to help out their outfield, so I got this one wrong. He did stay in the division, though. He went to the Baltimore Orioles. I truly didn't see that one happening, and again, it's another one of those things where it's like when you take a step back and you get out of your prediction head and mindset and the biases that you have, it does make a lot of sense that they went for him. When you're losing Anthony Santander, you want another quick option that give you some pop in that order, and signing Tyler O'Neill to this 3-year deal, they moved in the fences in left field. It's kind of funny how they did that once they signed a power-hitting left fielder. They moved the fences in. He's going to play a lot better. He's a really nice move for the Orioles, but still, one of the worst offseasons we saw, or I should say, most disappointing offseasons. We got another one correct. Michael Conforto to the Dodgers. Can you say bang? Let's go. I just kind of had a feeling that that was going to be the case. He feels like a Dodgers player where he's going to be a platoon guy. He's a guy who gets on base, has power potential. I know Michael Conforto is going to pop off on the Dodgers this year, and it's going to hurt me as a Mets fan, but I do wish the best for him. But I got that one right. Added to the list. It's funny how, like, the ones that I'm getting right are all former Mets players, by the way. Actually, oh my God. I got Pete Alonso right. I got Juan Soto right. I got Brandon Drury right, a former Met. And now I got Michael Conforto right, a former Met. Okay. We're starting to see where my knowledge really goes all the time. There was no particularly good center fielders available this offseason, and a lot of them still haven't signed. I did get one right, though. Enrique Hernandez signing back with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't necessarily know if I should be proud of that one. I feel like that's probably one of the easiest moves to call this offseason, but I did get that one right, so added to the counter. I think we're up to 5 correct at this point. Don't let me get hot. And now we get to move to right field, and of course, like I said, I got Juan Soto right. All of you in the comments that were calling me biased and crazy and stupid for thinking that the Mets would not only get Juan Soto, but then Juan Soto and Pete Alonso. How about now? Truthfully, it was just a little bit of copium. I wanted the Mets to get Juan Soto. I needed to believe that the Mets were going to get Juan Soto. I wanted to put it out there in the world that the Mets were going to get Juan Soto. You know, that like positive thoughts bring positive moods, bring positive things happening in your life. And Juan Soto signing with the Mets is a positive thing that happened in my life. So I'm super pumped that they got him, and I'm super pumped that I got Juan Soto right. Let's go. I did not get Teoscar Hernandez right. I thought he was going to be a Boston Red Sox, but as we know now, their DH situation's a little bit clunky with Rafael Devers and Alex Bregman. He would have been a great fit there, but going back to the Dodgers was also always a possibility. He was so important for them, it would have been crazy for them not to bring him back. I just thought maybe another team was going to be more aggressive and try to pay him more. I thought Max Kepler was going to sign with the New York Yankees. He ended up signing with another team that I hate, the Philadelphia Phillies. He has a chance to pop off in that park, in that lineup. I think it's a really good fit. And that's all I got for the outfielders. On to the last offensive position here. We have the DH spot. A couple guys still haven't signed, but of course we got Andrew McCutchen going back to the Pirates, correct? I mean, that one is another one that was incredibly obvious. I really felt good about Jock Peterson to the Nationals. Again, I think this is just me thinking that the Nationals were going to push a little aggressive aggressively with their rebuild, try and kind of expedite it a little bit, and I thought Jock Peterson could have helped. They obviously went with Josh Bell at the DH position now, where it's going to be him and Nathaniel Lowe. Jock Peterson signed with the Rangers, a sneaky, amazing move for that team. I think he's going to really, really help that lineup. The guy just absolutely mashes. And then I was so close with Eloy Jimenez. I knew he was going to be in the state of Florida. I just got the wrong team. He went to the Rays instead of the Marlins. Now, for the starting pitchers, there are a ton of big names here, so let's start flying through these and seeing how I did. Corbin Burnes, I didn't think he was leaving Baltimore. I didn't think they could let him leave Baltimore. They needed him for that pitching staff. I still can't believe that they didn't make a more aggressive push on any free agents, let alone Corbin Burnes. He signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks, which I believe was a bit of a dark horse team. Shout out Robbie Hyde. He was throwing out Corbin Burnes to the Diamondbacks all off season, and it ended up hitting. I did not see that one coming in the slightest. I thought Blake Snell was going to be a Boston Red Sox. I thought they were going to spend big money on the pitching market. I do think this was technically before they traded for Garrett Crochet, so keep that in mind. They did get a big left-handed pitcher. It just wasn't the one that I thought. Him signing with the Dodgers is cruel and unfair, but also spend money other owners if you want great players. Blake Snell signed early in the offseason on a contract that everybody should have been offering him. He picked the Dodgers. Nothing you can do about it. It's a great move. When that guy's healthy, he's simply one of the best pitchers in baseball. I thought the Dodgers were going to get another left-handed pitcher, Max Fried. He ended up signing with the New York Yankees, which, again, Max Fried was always going to go to one of these big contending teams that was going to pay him. The Yankees gave him 8 years, which might be an insane length to give, but right now in a vacuum, he makes their team so much better, and he adds to an amazing starting rotation in the Bronx. I honestly thought Yusei Kikuchi was going to be a Met. I didn't think the Mets were going to bring back Sean Manaea. I thought he was going to go to the Detroit Tigers, so I was wrong about those, which I think are kind of funny. Kikuchi ended up going to the Angels, which the Angels always do something every offseason that makes me scratch my head. They signed a bunch of players, but still aren't very good. That's what's confusing about their offseason this year. Nathan Eovaldi, I thought was definitely going to be an Atlanta Brave. I thought they needed a little bit more pitching depth. He just went back to Texas with the Rangers, which was always a possibility. The rumors were out there that Eovaldi wanted to be back. It was just whether or not the Rangers wanted him or could spend the money to bring him back, and they did, which is a good fit. Jack Flaherty, I thought he was going to go to the San Francisco Giants. Instead, they went the super veteran route, getting Justin Verlander, who I thought was going to go to the Detroit Tigers, which is where Jack Flaherty ultimately ended up landing. I just think that's super funny when these things end up like just being flip opposites. I thought Nick Pivetta was going to go back to the Red Sox on the qualifying offer, or if not, they were going to be able to come to a long-term agreement. I can't believe he signed that contract with the Padres. I mean, good for San Diego, good for Nick Pivetta technically getting $55 million guaranteed, but man, over the next 2 years, that contract makes 0 sense. I didn't even make a card for Clayton Kershaw because we just knew he was going to sign with the Dodgers. I don't think we even need to talk about that one. I had Charlie Morton signing with the Phillies. He ended up signing with the Baltimore Orioles, which again, Baltimore, I'm not sure what's going on there. He went from Corbin Burnes to Charlie Morton, who's 41, 42 years old. That's crazy. Shane Bieber goes back to Cleveland with the Guardians. I had him going to the Baltimore Orioles. I thought Max Scherzer could have been the old guy that the San Francisco Giants signed. I knew Buster Posey was going to bring back one of these old guys to just be like a veteran winning presence. It ended up being Verlander. Scherzer going to the Toronto Blue Jays, which I thought was super interesting. I didn't get Severino right. I didn't get Frankie Montas right. I got those ones pretty wrong. Like, Severino is clearly not back with the Mets, and the Guardians didn't really spend on starting pitching like I thought they might have. Frankie Montas ends up being a Met. I thought Walker Buehler was going to go back to the Dodgers based on how he ended the season there with the World Series run, but he goes to the Red Sox, which I think was a really nice pickup. If he's anything like he was in the postseason, he is going to be awesome in Boston. I got Roki Sasaki right. Again, probably one of the easier ones to get correct. I think everybody in the world thought he was going to be a Los Angeles Dodger. That's where he ended up, because of course he did, because the Dodgers, the rich get richer. They have 1,000 starting pitchers. Sorry, I'm going to take it down a notch. I got excited. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my free agent predictions. I think I got like 7 or 8 right out of like the 120 players that signed this offseason. This is hard. It is not easy to predict these, but hey, I'm going to keep doing it. You guys seem to enjoy the video. It's a lot of fun for me. I love making these videos. I love making the little graphics. Like, it is genuinely one of the more fun videos I make all year. So I appreciate the support on it, as you guys always give it. I appreciate the support on this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, drop a like. It really does help support the channel. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the content coming at you. Follow me on all my social media, GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in the description. And that's where I'll wrap it up. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next video. Bye.